Histograms are one of the easiest questions on GCSE Higher. Here we're asked to calculate an estimate for the mean distance. While mean is our mini one, it requires a lot of work. We first will find three columns. Our first column is called our midpoint, our second column is called our frequency, and our last column is our midpoint multiplied by our frequency. To find the midpoint, as the name suggests, we just go in the middle of each bar. Look at my first bar here, in the middle of 6.4 and 7.2, clearly the midpoint is 6.8. Looking at our next bar, the midpoint between 7.2 and 7.6, well, in the middle will be 7.4. So 7.4 is the midpoint. Looking at our next bar, the midpoint between 7.6 and 8, well, in the middle level will be 7.8. Be careful when find the midpoint of our last bar, because this is 8, and here will be 8.2. So the midpoint will be in the middle of 8 and 8.2, which is 8.1. I now need to calculate the frequency of each bar. To calculate the frequency from a histogram, we know frequency is the area of each bar. So to calculate the area of a rectangle, it's simply the length multiplied by the width. Look at my first bar here. Well, the length here will be 7.2, take away 6.4, which gives us 0.8. We now multiply by the width. In this case, in between 0 and 20 is 10. So 0.8 times 10, that will give us 8. So as a frequency of 8. Calculating the area in my second bar, it's going to be 7.6 take away 7.2, which gives us 0.4. So it's 0.4 multiplied by the width. In this case, in between 40 and 60 is 50. So we're going to have 0.4 times 50, which will give us 20. So therefore, that bar has a frequency of 20. Calculate my area in my third bar. In this case, it's going to be 8 subtract 7.6, which gives us 0.4. So it's going to be 0.4 multiplied by the length, in this case, 100. And 0.4 times 100 will give us 40. So therefore, it has a frequency of 40. Calculating the area of the final bar. Here, it's going to be 8.2 subtract 8, which gives us 0.2. So it's going to be 0.2 multiplied by the length of the bar, in this case, 60. And 0.2 times 60 will give us 12. So therefore, it has a frequency of 12 people. I now do the midpoint multiplied by the frequency for each row separately. Look at my first row here. I'm going to have 6.8 multiplied by 8, which gives us 54.4. Look at my next row, I'm going to have 7.4 multiplied by 20, which gives us 148. Look at my next row, I'm going to have 7.8 multiplied by 40, which gives us 312. Look at my final row, I'm going to have 8.1 multiplied by 12, which gives us 97.2. I now always total my midpoint times frequency. That comes to a grand total of 611.6. I also total my frequency column, which in this case comes to 80. I know that should be 80 anyway, because there was 80 competitors. As I want to calculate an estimate for the mean distance, it's going to be the total of our midpoint times frequency. In this case, 611.6. That's always going to be the top. And mean is the average, hence we're going to divide by, in this case, the total number of competitors. In this case, our total frequency, when there was 80 competitors, which works out to give us our final answer of 7.645 meters.